towards the Kelso Dunes right now, and the road is absolutely horrible. Gosh, but they are huge. We've been to the White Sands Dunes in New Mexico, and those are big too, but these are way bigger. You feel like you're driving into Egypt. Take a look. Okay guys, look at this. The immensity of it is really hard to show on the camera, but it would take you all day to hike up there. There's literally nothing here except bathrooms and a little parking lot. Here's the parking lot, and as you can see, it's not terribly big, but we were able to find a spot. And then there's this path. This is how we go into the sand dunes. So the Kelso Dunes are one of the oldest and most extensive dune fields in the West. And the Kelso Dune complex rises more than 600 feet above the desert floor and covers more than 45 square miles. Here we are at the Kelso Dunes. Sun is about to set in a little while, and it's really, really quiet.
And I just want to say a few things about the Mojave National Preserve. It's a really big place, not quite as big as Death Valley, but large. And there's a western area and an eastern area. And sometimes you can drive back and forth between the two, and sometimes you can't. In fact, it's a really good idea to check to see which ones are open, which ones are closed. Where we are is Hole in the Wall, which is a beautiful campground. Even Thanksgiving weekend, we had room.
We did. We found a beautiful spot, and the views there are phenomenal. So if you are thinking of staying there, look for spot number 6. It's absolutely beautiful. The views are incredible, and you get to see the sunrise and the sunset from the same spot. All you have to do is turn your chairs around.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a big spot. It's a level spot. You can bring in most any rig there. And you've got water right next to you, a bathroom right next to you, and you got a 360 view. So on the eastern side, you get the Mitchell Caverns, and you also get the rings, the
ring trail.
The ring trail, the ring hike. And that's just absolutely fantastic. It's not for the faint of heart or the claustrophobic, but it's a lot of fun. There's rings you climb up on, and that's on the eastern side. So the Mitchell Caverns are definitely worth doing. About 3 weeks in advance, you need to reserve. Otherwise, you may not get in. It's a guided tour only.
Yes, and they only take reservations on Mondays. Just know that. So you have to call on Mondays.
The western side, there's the Kelso Dunes. There's the Mojave Cross, which was put there by the VFW, and that's a real impressive place also. That's just a beautiful place. There's a whole history to that. We'll tell you about that another time. And there's about 4 or 5 places around the periphery of the park where you can get gas. And I would encourage you, anytime you're near one of them, to make the trip out to the periphery, get gas, and come back in, because there is no gas to be found in the park. And the only place we found water so far has been at
Hole in the Wall.
Hole in the Wall at this time of year, November. But I guess there's water other places from time to time. So plan ahead and take one day on the eastern side and one day on the western side.
It's worth it.
That should pretty much cover 2 days is about what you need here to see what you need to see. So we're here at the sand dunes, and the Kelso Dunes, they're absolutely gigantic. Hard to believe that this is like a 600-foot sand dune right there.
The sand is really, really soft. It's like powder. But unlike White Sands, where we've been before, this is actual sand as compared to White Sands, which is actually gypsum.
There's also nothing to eat in the park, so you've got to bring in all your own food.
Yeah, there's no restaurants and there's no stores. So yeah, bring in everything you need.
And the end of November is very pleasant weather-wise.
Gosh,
It's
yes.
a little cool in the evenings, but the rest of the day it's 65, 70, and sunny. And the nights it gets down to about 40. So it's good sleeping weather. And we've really enjoyed the weather. It's a perfect time of the year to come. But you want to compare this place to Joshua Tree. First of all, there's a lot more Joshua trees here than there are
That's true.
at Joshua Tree, which is a
Yeah.
big surprise.
There are literally millions of them here. In fact, they have more Joshua trees there than anywhere else
Yeah.
in the whole world.
North of a town called Sema, C-I-M-A.
Sema, that's it. Yeah, that's the name I was looking
Tons
for.
of Joshua trees here. And compared to Joshua Tree, it's way less crowded, way more rugged, and in some ways, I think more beautiful. I do
True.
think that this is probably a little bit nicer and way less crowded, except for the gas prices.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible. But I wanted to say one more thing about our campground. The spaces are large, very large, and they are well spaced apart. And you know, voices do carry in the desert, but nonetheless, we hardly heard our neighbors at all. And nobody had their generators running at night, and there were a lot of tent campers, and I was worried about them because it gets cold at night. But they seem to survive. But David often says, and I think he's absolutely right, the more you pay for a camp spot, the less beautiful it's going to be, and the more it's going to resemble a parking lot. And it seems the opposite is true. The
Yeah.
less you pay for a camp spot, I mean, let's face it, $12 a night is not bad. The more beautiful it's going to be. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. So don't go looking for expensive places. Look for the less expensive places with lots of space around you and also lots of beauty around you. It's
And the
fantastic.
kind of people go camping in national parks, state parks, national monuments, national preserves like this one are wonderful people. They're not full of themselves in general. They're out to enjoy nature.
They're like-minded people.
We met a real fun young couple last night. They invited them over to the fire and just had a
Yeah.
really great time hearing their story.
Yeah.
So those kind of things are really a plus. We're way out past the graffiti zone out here. There's
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
we're a long ways away from the doo-doo. So it's nice out here. The western part is also really nice. You've got the dunes, you've got Kelso, and in the town of Kelso, just west of Kelso, you can find it on Google Maps, is a little Chinese cemetery. And I believe it's from the workers from the railroad who built the Union Pacific. And they're unmarked graves. And it's
Well, they have crosses on them, but there's no names.
no names.
So we have no idea who's buried there.
Right. We owe a lot to our Chinese immigrants in California who built so much of our infrastructure,
That's for sure.
got paid so badly, and were mistreated a lot. And
Yeah.
so,
But what would we have done without them?
yeah.
Think about that.
So if you get a chance, get out there and see that little cemetery in Kelso. The train station's fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So interesting to see, and the Mojave Cross is beautiful also. And yeah, it's just the west side is interesting, and the east side is interesting, both in their own way.
We're really glad we came. David wanted to come for his birthday, which is in a couple of days. So happy birthday, Davey.
Well, thank you.
And this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to visit the Mojave. And in the past, the Mojave has been, at least to me, something to just get through from one place to the other, something to endure. But if you make it your destination, it's totally different. It is interesting, it is beautiful, it is peaceful. Definitely a place
Yeah.
you might want to go.
It's the largest unspoiled place I've ever seen. Most all of it, 99% of it, looks just like it did 1,000 years ago. There's really no sign of human anything here.
That's true.
And it just is good for the soul to be in a place like this that's this quiet. Plus, if you're in the Los Angeles area, anywhere in Southern California, this is a great place to come on a long weekend. It's close enough to get here on a long weekend and see some things, a couple days, and then come back. 3 nights is about perfect, I think, as far as that goes.
I agree.
And you can always find a place. All the campgrounds, by the way, here are first come, first serve. You can't reserve here.
That's a good point.
That's important to know. And even on Thanksgiving weekend, there's plenty of spots. So I wouldn't worry about crowding and that kind of thing. There's also a lot of dispersed camping, which is free, of course.
Oh yeah, lots of BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management land, which almost always is free. And yeah, sometimes they even have some amenities like picnic tables and fire rings and stuff, believe it or not. Anyway, just wanted to share with you a few things about the Mojave because we were very happily surprised that it is as wonderful as it is.
It is. Life is an incredible gift from God, and we want to make sure that we take advantage of all of it, enjoy it, participate in life, build relationships, build families, get out and see the world God made, and don't take it for granted. Keep doing it so you can keep doing it.
All right. Bye, guys. Look at that sunset.